um, yeah, so you can actually just click on the transcription if you're interested in following along um, at the side, and that's anyone is able to do that. So I want to turn the virtual floor over to, yeah, Christiana.
Hi, so this time right now does not hi everybody. My name is Christiana and I'm a student of
Mm.
Sheridan College. But this time right now doesn't really work for me because I have to go for class very
Okay.
soon. So I don't know if there's gonna be like another meeting between Monday to Wednesday. I'm available Thursday and Fridays when I go to school.
Okay. So right now, this is the timing that that like is that we've booked things for, but Christiana, there will be a recording of this. So when you leave, we'll make sure that you have access to everything that we talk about.
Thank you so much. That will be
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn and spread the word. If you find this helpful, which I'm
Oh,
sure you will. So I'm
definitely.
going to turn the virtual floor over to Jaspreet Kaur, who is actually the coordinator of our student action group in the Bachelor of Social and Community Development, and was at one time herself an international student, got her PR card, and is now doing another program at Sheridan. And I had the privilege of meeting Jaspreet and Renetta while they were both students in the SSW program at Sheridan, and connecting with them. And it's so lovely to come full circle with these wonderful students. So Jaspreet, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Bethany. And thank you, Ronetta, for being our guest speaker. Christiana, we are so excited to have you. And then uh, just make sure you feel free to ask any questions you may have in between when we are presenting. Unmute yourself or put your question in the chat. We'll be happy to answer any questions. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen with the presentation. Give me a second. You guys can see my presentation.
We can, absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much. So I'll officially start. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm really excited to see Christiana and Trinetta and Bethany. So this Lunch and Learn series was created for you, international students, just like yourself, Christiana, and even alumni. So if you know anyone, as Bethany said, this just spread the word, and we'll be happy to have more students and alumni in this conversation. So it's focused more. So this series is focused more on human services, students in human services, and how they will navigate and explore careers in human services. Uh, e- and it can be based on or it can be around their education, skills, and passion, leading to meaningful work. Uh, so, for example, in Canadian job market, it may feel confusing, especially for newcomers like international students who just arrived in Canada, and navigating the education system, and now they also have to navigate the workforce system. It may be intimidating, and having support, peer support, in the series like this, Lunch and Learn, it can be very meaningful and it can make a huge impact because you'll be directly, talking with students or people who already were in your shoes some years ago. So talk about how in this session, I'll talk about how the workforce actually works and how to build real connections, not awkward networking, but building real connection that may be useful or that may add value in your career in human services. So also explore tools like LinkedIn and AI, how we strategically use it, and just not to get a job, but also to grow and thrive in your role once you get a job. So this space is meant to be practical and supportive and honest. So again, ask any questions or even share your experience. Doesn't have to be questions. So if you have any difficult experience or if you're experiencing any, challenges, feel free to share because I'm pretty sure we already experienced that and we overcome those challenges. Uh, yeah, so just want to acknowledge that, you belong in this field, and I'm just gonna start this conversation. Yeah. Any questions you have before we start, Christiana? Or Ronetta, if you want to add anything?
No, I completely agree with you. Like we have walked the same path a couple years back. So we have overcome those challenges to get here to the position where we are. So yeah, this is a safe space where you can share your experience, any challenges that you have already faced or you're currently facing, or if you want any advice about the future, yeah, here we are.
Thanks, Ronetta. Just do a quick acknowledgement. So First Nation peoples have lived on this part of Turtle Islands for millennia, stewarding the land, the water, and all that contributes to life in this region. Today, the culture and presence of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples enrich the lands and peoples of this territory. Over 2 centuries ago, the Mississauga people welcomed settlers into this territory, providing sustenance and engaging in trade and commerce. Between 1781 and 1820, 8 treaties were signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who opened their territory to settlement. Today, Sheridan campuses are located on Treaty 14 land, also known as the head of the lake purchase of 1806, and Treaty 22 and 23 lands based on treaties signed in 1820. Treaty history is foundational, and it is our collective responsibility to honor the land as we honor and respect those who have gone before us, those who are here, and those who have yet to come. We are grateful for the opportunity to be learning, working, and thriving on this land. And we commit to learn the truth and be active in the process of reconciliation. Okay, so here, this is an agenda item and today's goals. So start off by, talking about how the Canadian workforce is structured, different sectors in human services, and we'll also learn how to approach networking authentically and, shifting the mindset from job hunting to relationship building. And then we'll have our amazing guest speaker, Romanata, who will, share her experience and any advice that she has. And Q&A at the end. However, Christiana, if you have anything, please feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, so our presenter. So myself, I'll be the moderator for today, and I'll also be, presenting in between. I'm the fourth year student with the BSCD program, Bachelor's of Social and Community Development. And I'm also the president of our program club with SSU. So the program club is BSCD, Bachelor of Social Community Development, Past, Present, and Futures Club. And I'm the community engagement coordinator and program coordinator as well for the BSCD program. And then we have Renata, who is our guest speaker. She's also a fourth year student with the BSCD program, and she's a teaching assistant and counselor in a mental health residence in New Brunswick. And Renata, if you want to share anything else about yourself, feel free to do so.
I think you have already given a short information about me. So that is all. And I'm also a president here in one of the Indian community group. So apart from that, you have said all about me.
Thank you, Renata. So the group guidelines. So we just want to make sure that this is a positive and safe space to share experiences or ask any questions. So these are just group guidelines, some foundational. However, Christiana, if you want to add anything, please feel free to do so. So in this space, we just want to make sure it's respectful and people can share and can share freely without any fear of judgment, and they can be whoever they want to be in this space and whatever they believe in. They make sure they feel safe to speak openly and feel included. So any ideas are welcome, any good ideas are welcome, and we acknowledge that we may have different views and just need to be respectful of each other's different ideas. So if you want to add anything, Christiana, please feel free to add. I'm not looking at the chat, so I'm not sure if you added anything there.
No, I don't have anything to add. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, wait, this messed up my template, but it's just small group introductions. So we can just share quickly the name, like your name, your program, what year are you in, and the career, job, or sector you're interested in. I've listed the bullet points on the screen for you. So I can start with myself. So my name is Jaspreet Kaur, and I'm in the BSCD program, Bachelor of Social and Community Development, in the fourth year at Sheridan College. And the sector I'm interested in is in public sector. So I'm highly interested in working with government at different levels. So even currently, I'm working with Region of Peel in municipal government. So yeah, that's my passion. Renetta, if you want to go ahead next.
So my name is Ronita James Roy. I'm currently a fourth year student of Honors Bachelor of Social and Community Development. I'm also an alumni of Sheridan as well. I did my social service work diploma. So currently I'm working as a teaching assistant in one of the district school in New Brunswick and also a counselor for mental health. I kind of juggle with two jobs and work two jobs and studies at the same time. Then the career that I want to achieve is to be in the public sector too, to work for the government and also maybe in the hospitals to help people, international students, and much more. Yeah, that is what I'm currently interested in doing.
Thanks, Renetta. Superpowers to do so many things. I know we all in human services, like multitask multitaskers. And
We
Christiana,
definitely do. We have a
yeah,
superpower to
yes.
multitask.
Hi, I'm Christiana. My program is Child and Youth Care, and this is my third year, my final year, and I cannot wait to graduate. And the career or job sector I'm looking forward to is basically public sector as well, and hospitals, still public sectors, but I'm majorly looking for one that will put me in line to get my PR, because not all jobs can put you on that path. So I'm also interested in working with children, youth, and sick kids too, children with autism, children with ADHD, trauma informed, trauma children that has past trauma or currently going through one or two trauma in their life. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you so much, Christiana. I know like we have to shift our priorities because of the permanent residence things. Sometimes like we cannot pursue what we want. So thank you for sharing. And also I can see your passion being very empathetic and so much passionate about working with the vulnerable group, and then your studies are basically leading you towards your goal as well, so I'm happy for you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much.
And I am not someone who has been an international student, but I have worked as a professor in the field for 20 years and have had many international students in programs and have learned things about what their experiences are. But even just working with Jaspreet to put this together, I definitely have learned more because unless you are someone who's actually doing it, I don't think that we as institutions in Canada who are providing education for students do a really good job of supporting students to transition into the workforce. And so this is something that I'm really glad that we're doing as well. And thanks again for everyone who's here.
Thanks, Bethany.
Thank you so much.
And thanks always for your support.
Mm, of course.
Great. So we can just move forward with our session today. So as we said that we will be talking about understanding the Canadian workforce. Even in human services, Christiana, there's so many different subsectors, I would say. For example, as we all mentioned, public sector. And all of us are aware about nonprofit sector. So, for example, nonprofit and community organizations, they are mostly funded by government. Sometimes they also get donations as well, but they provide services to community members at no cost. So that's like one type of, sector in human services that you might be aware of as well from your program. And they're mostly community focused neighborhood, like for example neighborhood organizations, or even sick kids is a nonprofit. Even it's a hospital, it is a nonprofit. And it can also fall under healthcare, which is one of the points that I listed here. So healthcare does not mean that being a doctor or a nurse, but even in healthcare there can be different positions. For example, being an outreach worker to raise awareness about the healthcare programs that is offered by an institution. Or there's so many community-based healthcare organizations. For example, Wellford, which is in Peel. If you're from Peel, Christiana, you may be aware of that organization. Or for
No, I'm
example,
not in Peel. I'm in Toronto.
okay, so there might be there's definitely other organizations in Toronto that offer similar services. So
Yeah, but I
these,
don't mind moving
oh no, no,
anywhere.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Toronto definitely has more organizations because bigger, like it's a bigger municipality. So that's just like one sector I'm saying, and then also government that we all talked about, but in different levels. For example, federal, municipal, provincial, they have human services departments that focus on, or that works, uh, that has a community focused programs. So that can be a sector to explore. Education, like post secondary, for example, Sheridan may have some job openings, for example, and then you may be eligible for that and be interested for that. For example, international student advisor, just an example, or student advisors in at college or at different colleges too, which because these programs, human services program, provide you with the skills and knowledge to work in these different sectors. And then it can be a private sector too, for example, consultations, or corporate social responsibility. So in the private sector, there are like divisions where you can work with the knowledge and skills that you gained from the program, and work for uh, a human services focused program in that company. And there's like settlement services organizations, for example, that serve immigrants and newcomers, and they can be different roles in those organizations, like being a settlement worker or employment counselor, or settlement workers in schools that mostly offer settlement services. So for example, helping navigate the Canadian helping navigate Canada, helping the immigrants navigate Canada, or whatever is around. It can be either focused on different populations, or it can be also focused on, let's say, youth, women, and all that. So each sector has different hiring processes, expectations, and timelines. So these are just few sectors that you may explore. And if you want to add anything, if anything comes to your mind that's not listed here, just feel free to add.
Yeah, I think these are all great. And I think that one of the things that really makes sense to me, and I mean, even when I'm talking with students when they're thinking about graduate schools, there are so many different options that are not published options and are not something that even all of your professors know about. And so I often talk about throwing, if you were fishing, if any of you ever seen fishing, you throw a net that is a wide net to pull in and see what are all of these different possibilities, because there are actually lots of jobs that fulfill that knock code that you are locked into in order to get that Canadian experience visa, right?
That's so true, Bethany. And then it adds another layer of value. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm really interested in this job, and I may qualify, I may even get it, but then it doesn't, qualify the requirements to get the PR.
yeah, yeah.
But I also suggest that even if you get the job, just get it because that it will add to your experience to get the job that you need.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that I think also is not even just something that I would recommend to a student who is an international student. I would say that that's a good rule of thumb. We don't often get to work in, like, as you know, right now I'm a professor, but I have worked in lots of different places. I have cleaned bathrooms. I have worked in coffee shops. I have done all sorts of things on my way, but each of those things provided me with tools that I needed. And as I reflect back over my long, long life, I can see how even things that didn't make sense to me at that moment actually contributed to some of the knowledge that I have and some of the connections that I've made.
That's so true. That all those transferable skills really
Yeah,
add value. Yeah, thank you.
And
absolutely.
something that all international students don't realize is that when I was an international student, I always wanted to achieve a government job or, a job that gives me a safe space, like where I can be there for long. But there are many internship
Mm,
options within the government that I did not know about. But these days you can see it online, like even in the Peel. When you Google it, you will see that there are options for international students to do the internship or volunteer, which will give you the experience. That is a great foundation to get
yeah.
to where you are. Like that's something that I did not know, but later I realized that if I had known or somebody had told me about this when I was an international student, it would have helped me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I know the lack of awareness about these tools or resources available, or even the opportunities available. I think it's a big barrier as well because same I can feel you, like I did not know about a lot of things when I was an international student, and then if I knew, probably it could be different, right?
Yeah.
So and also I think new programs also opened up afterwards. For example, there's summer internship opportunities that international students can also apply. I think it's with region of Peel or city, I don't remember exactly, but like a lot of as after advocacy and all that, these things opened up after. Okay, so I will talk about the job market, and then even like Bethany mentioned that not everything is advertised, or maybe your professor might not know about all the job openings, or where you can explore your career. So it's always good to diversify, I would say. Like
Mm,
I know, like a lot of us are aware of Indeed or Charity Village to explore careers in human service, like, or to find jobs in human services. But then some of them are not listed. A lot of them are not listed on these platforms. So it's always good to check websites of the companies that you're interested in, check them individually. Sometimes they don't post on the other platforms, or even go on LinkedIn and do the research. And sometimes they hire people who are already in the organization. So, for example, Ronetta mentioned about internships. So, Christiana, if you have an internship coming up, or if you did internship, you already build that experience. And then let's say if an opening comes up and luckily you are in the internship and then you apply, probably you also have the chance to talk to the hiring manager directly, and probably they already know your work, so you may be a really good choice for them. It will be beneficial for both parties, because you already have the experience and the knowledge of the company, and the company have to spend less time training you compared to a brand new employee or brand new candidate. So it's a win-win situation for both parties, and also you get a lot of experience with the company as well. So always, I highly recommend volunteering, even if you don't get the job at the organization. So I would say don't always have this intention of, okay, I will get a job, that's why I'm going to volunteer this organization. That yeah, that's I don't really agree with that kind of mindset, but I would say it will help you build the skills that may be helpful when you apply for a similar job, or even a job in the organization. But even having, if you come with let's say you don't get a job, or this nothing comes up, that you will be disappointed, and then you might feel demotivated. Okay, I'm not going to volunteer, I did everything and I didn't land a job. So volunteering with the mindset, okay, I'm going to get the experience and build the connections. Maybe somebody in the organization they might refer you to some other organization which have a job opening, and they will act as a referee, or, as a great reference for you as well. So there's always perks in volunteering. And then internship too, like I know some programs, I'm not sure about yours, but some programs provide optional internship. But I always say, especially for international students, it's a really good opportunity to do the internship. Never give up your internship, because that again, especially for a newcomer or international student, it's a really good opportunity to enter the job market. Because sometimes, like when I was international, I didn't even know how to get a volunteer opportunity. So it was hard even to, like, because you still have to follow all the steps. For example, build a resume, apply, all that. And it's so hard being new in the country and then work on all these aspects. And especially having no experience from back home or even here, it's a big barrier. So it will help you prepare for job market as well. So it's both for internship and volunteering. And then contract position. So don't avoid contract positions, because even like especially in human services, a lot of the positions are in like they are contract based. So because even before I was thinking I'm gonna get a permanent job, I wanted like this knock category job that will get me PR, but I just need to step back and see, okay, how I will get there, because that job specifically needs some prerequisite. For example, I need this much experience. So if you're already in the program, for example, let's say you're in your first year and your program is 3 year, you started volunteering, and by the time you graduate, you have like 3 years experience or 2 years experience, and then it will you'll be it will give you a leverage over other candidates or over other students who might not have any experience. And also referrals as well, as I mentioned, that if you already have connections through these tactics, then you might get a referral for a job, or you might get offered, okay, this might be a job you may be interested in, and then and get encouraged to apply. And then relationships really matter. So when you are in any of these like in the position of even being a good relationship with your professor or your internship supervisor, that really matters in a long run. So all those soft skills, they do add value.
I
And
would be I would be
Mhm.
interested. Oh, did Christiana leave?
Yes,
Okay.
she just left.
Yeah. So I would say it's interesting, just that there are like so for child and youth care,
Mhm.
social service workers have to do 600 hours of a practicum, and child and youth care, because it's a 3-year specialized program, they do 900 hours in three different practicums. But I don't know, and this is interesting, like I don't know what the percentage is of people who, like I actually wish we had some statistics on that of
Mhm.
like how many students get jobs out of their practicum, right? Because
Yeah.
I think like I know lots of students who have, but it would be really interesting to know what some of those statistics are. But I agree that all of these things are such important tools. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Bethany. So, networking with intention. Networking is a really big point, I would say. So, again, networking is not like you're asking for a favor or you're begging for a job. It's not transactional. Again, if you do this, I'll do that. So, networking is building authentic relationship. It's just like as I said with volunteering too. So you don't have that mindset, okay, I'm gonna get something in return. You're getting a lot of experience, but be, it's a learning experience. So similarly with networking, uh it's building authentic relationship, it's learning from others and staying curious. And the key thing is being consistent, not just okay, I got the job. Even if you get the job, you don't stop networking, because networking will eventually get you where you. It's not again. It's not in with the intention of I'll get something. Or I'm good. I got a good connection with this person. This person will get me a job. So that's not networking. Networking is making sure you are building those relationships that will add value in your career. So anybody can be a potential employer or connect you to one. I would like to share an interesting story here. When I was in my previous role, I was a community health project coordinator at Dixie Blue Neighborhood Center, and I was sitting on different working groups. And so this was one of the working groups. It's called International Students Collaborative, run by Region of Peel, and I was I was our organization's representative, and then and there was like hundreds of people, especially online, but occasionally they do in-person meetings as well. And in one of the meetings, we were sitting on a table, we were just sharing, about our work, and this person said, "Oh, I'm the poverty reduction manager," and I was like, "Well, that's an interesting title. What is that at Region of Peel?" And she talked with me about her role, and then we had a new program in our organization about poverty reduction. So I was like, okay, let me connect you to this person, and probably there might be some collaboration that we can do, like a collaborative project. And then I connected both of them, and they worked. So there was no, there was no benefit for me personally in making that connection, but that was, that's all about networking. And you know what? The funny thing is, when I applied for my internship, and she got to be the manager of the team. Uh, so her name, I recognized her name when I was doing interview. She wasn't there, but her team was there. The supervisor that worked under her. And I was like, I recognize that name. I met her, and then that also made an impression. Okay, I already, you know, I already know the manager, and then already met with her. Already know about the work they do, and then uh, when I shared the story, it showed that I took an initiative, even if there was no direct benefit to me, but
Mm.
benefit for the community, having that mindset. So that's like kind of a funny story. I also the world is small, but it's all about networking again.
Mm.
Okay, again, so networking is, so again, so start in your program. Don't wait for your graduation. So starting early is the key. So build connections before you need them. Uh, Go on LinkedIn and then probably find people that are in the field, or even see what their career path looks like or look like. Even though no two people are the same, but it will really help you understand, okay, this person has followed these steps. Like then you may, it may motivate you, or you may find something similar that will help you get closer to your goal. So try to find people in your field who are in the positions, for example. And I will say just try to see the work back plan. To make a work back plan, how would I get there? What are the steps I need to follow? And attend events. So these are some of the tactics that you can use to build those connection or do networking. Engage on LinkedIn. That's a professional network platform. And volunteer in your field. So I cannot emphasize this enough, like volunteering and getting that experience. I know, uh, especially with financial barriers, it's not the ideal thing that any international student is looking for. Okay, they have like high expenses, high fee, other expenses as well. But again, that when making a choice, when thinking long term, uh, this is, I would say, this will really help you, and you'll always appreciate the experience and the connections that you make out of that. So it's a long term investment. This is how I would put it. Okay, so Ronetta, I'm just gonna give the floor to you. So just share your experience. You can even share your experience, like being an international student, or how did you find a how did you landed a job in the sector? Maybe how your first job looked like. Anything you want to share. These are just some ideas.
So once again, thank you, Bethany and Jaspreet, for giving me this opportunity. Like it, it feels so great to be an alumni of Sheridan College and also being a current student. Um, so first of all, I'll introduce myself again. So I'm currently a honors bachelor social and community development student at Sheridan College. I'm also a teaching assistant and a counselor in mental health residence in New Brunswick. I used to be I used to live in Ontario, but later after my graduation, I moved out to one of the Atlantic province. So initially moving to a different country can be really challenging at first, but the struggles that you face in the initial stage can also take you a long way towards building a better future. I still remember my early days in Sheridan College. I was once in the place that all the students are right now, attending webinars and information sessions to understand how things worked in Canada. I moved myself, like after grade 12, I completed my grade 12 and I moved to Canada to pursue my diploma in social service work. I didn't have anybody in Canada, literally nobody, no friends, no relatives, none. So I was a complete new person, and it was strange, like from coming from a tropical country to a country with storms, winter, heavy snowfall. It was different. Even the culture shock was huge. I did speak English, but compared to the British English that we had in India and following the American trend here was hard. Like nobody would understand me at first. So I'm like, okay, explaining myself a few times with some actions. I was thinking that would help. It was difficult. But during my initial student years, I worked few survival jobs. Like I was a cashier, then I worked in a credit card company. I have worked in warehouse. So, but those helped me to where I am right now. And after graduation, I made a conscious effort to stay within the field, like within the field of study, human service. And personally, I believe this was one of the best decisions I made as it supported me throughout my immigration journey. Like Bethany mentioned before about the no codes, the tier. We have to stay within the field, so that will help you with the experience. And also, when immigration lawyer or whoever works within the consultation team, when they look at your profile, they know that you have been consistent, and that can help you land into a permanent residency. That is what helped me, though. Like that's what helped me in my immigration journey. Then while working in a field, Gaining additional certification or license is always beneficial. I realize that employers often look for candidates who are already qualified and prepared to start, like ready to start ASAP. And in many cases, they may not be willing to wait to complete, like for the employee to complete their certifications or license after being hired, because then that's waste of time. They want somebody who was ready to start at the moment. So when I moved from Ontario, and that was during the COVID time. So I had couple months or a couple weeks where I got for myself to prepare. So that's what I did. I actually got some certifications that would help me in the field, like assist in what other thing, mental health counselor certificates, then first aid, anything that would help me in the field. And looking ahead, if you ever like all the international students, if they ever plan to move to a different province, like I did, because at certain point, living in certain provinces may not give you enough CRS points to attain your permanent residency, then an alternative choice is to move to a different province. That would help you. So that is what I personally did. And at that time, after graduation, I moved to one of the Atlantic province and I actively seeked employment. It is always important to remember that each province operates differently. They have their way of doing things, so it's not the same. Some provinces require you to be registered or licensed according to provincial regulations, but others may not. For example, like if you're in a human service field or healthcare, like personal support worker, when you're in Ontario, you need to be licensed or you need to have the graduation certificate to work within the field to get a better job, high paying job, to do personal care. Whereas in certain other provinces, you may not need that. They would take you in if you have experience in any healthcare field to work as a personal support worker. But in the immigration process, that may not help you because then you don't have a certificate, you don't get enough points. You'll get more points if you have the certificate and experience. So just like I said, every province works differently according to their provincial regulation. Then also coming to a new country on your own can be like overwhelming and very stressful. But trust me, I've been there. Like I have walked the same path. And if I was able to overcome those challenges, I truly believe that any new international students can. And I'm grateful that Sheridan is offering, the whole Sheridan team is offering this Lunch and Meet program to provide the support to help you better understand and also connect with the current and alumni students who have walked the same path. And about my current job, honestly, I landed my initial job in one of the Atlantic province is through my internship experience. So being a counselor, I worked at Family Service of Peel. That's where I did my internship. So they do services for settlement program and also the international, not just the students, but all the immigrants who move to Canada to help them navigate through the employment process, helping them prepare resumes and cover letter. And they also provide counseling. So I had this opportunity with my team lead to sit with few sessions and understand how it worked. So that experience helped me land a better job here. That was the experience that navigated me to this position. Then currently in my program, Bachelor of Social and Community Development, I did my internship in Riverview Art Center, helping them prepare finances and grants. And also, hopefully, I'm hoping that I will land in a better job with that experience that I've learned. So yeah, that is how my life is going so far. And my immigration journey has been like ups and downs because with all the immigration rule changes every now and then, it is hard to keep up with all the changes. But trust me, the initial days can be hard, but when you look into the future, there's a bright future there for you. So yeah, well, thanks for giving me this opportunity to share about my life to all the new international students. Hopefully it will help them to understand that they're not alone in this.
Great. Can I ask a question,
Yeah,
Renetta?
sure. Yes.
So I have noticed that a
Mhm.
number of the international students that are in that now have PR cards or citizenship and have come back to Sheridan are actually moved to different provinces. So I know Jaspreet stayed in Ontario, but you are in New Brunswick. We have students in our program who are joining us from Edmonton and Nova Scotia and PEI. And
Mhm.
so there are, and so I guess one of my interests is, first of all, how did you decide to go to New Brunswick? And uh, what what was the like what what caused you what caused you to go there? Was it that someone told you that there were more jobs there, that you saw some postings? Did you like the ocean? There's lots of reasons, but I have noted that there is a trend where that has happened.
So at first, I didn't know where I wanted to move.
Mm,
I don't know if that was a rumor at that time, but I heard that anybody who came here after grade 12 may not have enough CRS points to get their permanent residency. So, and I came here after my grade 12. So that puts me in that position where I cannot stay in Ontario longer. And they didn't have any programs that would help
okay,
any international
sure.
students with minimal qualification. So
Okay.
my only point was, okay, I got to move to, but I don't know where.
Yeah,
I
sure.
like bodies, but still I wasn't sure where to move. There are so many other provinces in Canada
Yeah.
with various options. I didn't want to move to any colder provinces like Nunavut or because no, I came from a tropical country. I don't think I'll survive there. So another option was okay, Atlantic provinces. That sounds good. I love water bodies, and I'm from a coastal side of India. So I'm like, oh, I think I can survive. But what I did is I applied to various jobs that suits me, my position or my field of study. I applied
Mhm.
not just to Atlantic Canada, but to all around Canada, except Nunavut and Yukon. I applied elsewhere, like everywhere, to see if I would land a job. Like if so, I was ready to pack my bag and move to that province. Apparently, I got a job, a B level job. At that time, it was A level, B level, and it goes on. But now
Mhm.
it is
Mhm.
here. There's a change in the immigration style, I guess. So at that time, I got a B level job, and that's how I moved to New Brunswick. And I've heard people with like whoever cannot stay in certain provinces, they move to a rural part that would help them attain more, like attain PR easily. I had a friend of mine from Ontario, moved to, I think he moved to Yukon, and they had a program at that time where if you work in certain fields for 6 months with the employer support, you can land on your PR. So you can get a PR soon within six
Wow.
months. But
That's
I
interesting.
did not
It
there,
is
yeah.
interesting. I kind of like the way that you're talking about rumors, right? So it's interesting to think about um, one of the areas that I worked in for a number of years doing research in was looking at people with precarious immigration status. Now, that was not necessarily international students, although people with student visas definitely fall into that precarious immigration status. But so often people would make either good decisions or bad decisions based on rumors that might be based in truth or might not be based in truth, right? So there isn't like a central website where you can go and see what are the rules for every province for someone who is trying for permanent residency in Canada. Like there isn't
Mhm.
a central database. And so you're really dependent on that social that's those social networks that you have, which may or may not be successful for you. I hope no one told you that New Brunswick was a tropical country because it has pretty severe winters as well, Renetta.
Right, nobody told me that. After moving here, we see heavier storms up to
Yeah.
our rooftop, and I'm like, oh my goodness, nobody told me about
Yeah.
this part.
Yeah.
I was only told about the good reasons. But
Yeah, for
also
sure.
being an international student, you don't know whom to trust because
Yeah.
whatever you hear, you're like, okay, that may be true, may not be true. So you're like partially like as a side of a coin. You don't know.
Yeah.
So like you said, you sometimes you make a good decision, sometimes you not. But if you don't, those are like learning lessons that we know. We shouldn't be following those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that I butted in there,
No,
Jaspreet,
no.
but that was something that was really interesting to me about and I suspected that it was a lot of rumors and, sharing information of some sort.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so true. Even I can feel because I also came to Canada after grade 12.
Mm.
And even finding a job, any job, doesn't matter in our category, is so hard because you just graduated from high school, came here, and it's so hard. But then I gave myself time, like kind of a timer. Okay, if I don't land a job in first year, because you only have like a 3 years work permit at that time. So it's like if I don't land a job, I have to move. So like giving yourself that. But then that was an option. But luckily I there's a program came TR to PR. So it was I think it was called temporary residence to permanent
Temporary.
residence. Yeah, so that was like luckily it doesn't happen too often, but then I have like I was working in the pandemic, so I had enough hours to apply as an essential worker. So that's how I got my PR. But again,
Mhm.
these are like if you get lucky, but that's a lot of students I know, and even that was also on my radar to move to another province to get permanent residency. But the thing is, as Bethany said, there are no supports because they don't really want to. It's to get a permanent residency so
Yeah.
easily, so they don't really provide you that support. That's why students get trapped in, let's say, scams and end up paying
Yeah.
huge amount of money to those consultants who, probably don't they promise it, but they probably don't uh, complete the promise. But yeah, but Renata, your
That
story is like, yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Just have that a small point about what you just said. I applied my permanent residency by myself, but
mm,
I've heard people say that, okay, if you apply by yourself, you may not get it. It is always better to consult with an immigrant consultant or agency and pay $2,000 to $3,000 for application to get your thing whole processed. But I know it is time consuming, a lot of typing in lots of papers and documents, but it's worth giving a shot. That's what I did, and I saved so much of money. It is an easy process, but it is time consuming. But you have to cross check all your documents over and over. I
yeah.
saved so much like that because there are other friends of mine who went through the same process, did it through a consultant, paying $2,000, $3,000 just to get the application submitted. So there's lots of scams going around, and a lot of international students happen to fall in the trap because they don't have enough information or advice. Like they don't have people to go to. I was one of
That's
them when
so
I was
true.
when I came here as a student. I didn't know anybody, and because I didn't know the culture, I didn't know if people would be friendly enough. But I came out of my comfort zone because being in a country being a newcomer in the country, it's hard. So we have to just step out of our comfort zone to, to be successful sometime.
That's so true. I can relate to that because when I was applying for my work permit, I was like, how would I apply it? And then I think the application is almost $300, and then I had less than that. And then I was trying to see how I would apply, and I called this consultant, and she said $300 for the application. I was like, okay, that's 300 all included. It's like, no, 300 just for the application, and then 300 my fee. So it was like $600 to apply for work permit. I was like, no, that's a lot of money. And then I just asked my cousin, and he applied by himself. Like, just watch the YouTube videos; they teach you everything. So I watched the YouTube video and I applied by myself. I got approved. So But for the
When do you apply? If you have any questions regarding the immigration process and you consult an immigrant consultant, they would charge you for half an
yeah,
hour session. It's over $100 just a half an hour
yes,
session to ask about few doubts and questions.
yes,
Rather than that, you could ask somebody who had gone through the process and get advice from them, like free of cost. It's just
yes,
easy to do
true.
that rather than putting your hand around the nose.
Yeah, that's so true. And even watching the YouTube videos, honestly, I think
It
those
helps
are
so
really
much. Yes.
helpful.
I really, this is really interesting to me. Like, I think when I think about how much knowledge the two of you have, in my mind, I think, I'm always thinking about like how do we make things better? And I thought to myself, like, wouldn't it be interesting to have a not-for-profit organization that opens up to support international students, like, because that's not something that even settlement agencies do, right? So
Mhm.
you might have a little program here or a little program there, or someone who might know something. But in terms of settlement, even though all of you, most international students that I've talked to, the reason that they decided to come and we have this attractive thing called a Canadian Experience Visa, where you can go to school and you have the opportunity to fast track your immigration, like your permanent residency, and yet there are no resources that are there to support you to fast track.
Mhm.
Um, it is very interesting. Anyway, who knows? Who knows what comes out of our conversations? But I
Mhm.
was really thrilled that like as soon as I reached out to students from this program who are international students, that you are all so eager and interested to contribute to sharing with others, because you sharing, we didn't have a lot of students at this event, but I will bet you that if we put this um, in with public access on YouTube, with uh, the right hashtags, that this will be something that is looked at, because you're looking for resources, right? Students are looking for resources, and there aren't, like you've said, there aren't direct resources that exist.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so true, Bethany. Thank you so much. I know we only have like 2 minutes left. Just gonna quickly go to the slides that we have
Yeah,
left.
sure. Yeah,
So right now, we don't have participants, but whoever is watching, they can just pause and then do this reflection activity. And
great.
these are
Good.
yeah, are the following sessions that we'll be conducting this month. So our next session will be focusing on the tools for job search and the supports available. I do have some resources in the next slide, but our next session will be more focused on this and like how we strengthen our application using the available tools. And it will
Great.
be 12 to 1 as well, 12 to 1 p.m. same
Yeah.
time.
I'm looking forward to each session. I think actually all professors should come to your sessions. And I'll definitely share this with professors, because we're also the ones who are working directly with students. Um, yeah. Well, thank you so much, both of you. And these are, yeah, some great supports and resources. And once again, we're ending with two wonderful students who are uh, current permanent residents, students at Sheridan College in the Honors Bachelor of Social and Community Development, and speaking from their wonderful experience. So thank you, Ronetta James Roy and Jaspreet Kaur, for your wonderful contributions, and I look forward to learning more.
Well, thank you, Bethany and Jasper, for giving me this opportunity. Well, good luck on the next upcoming weeks.
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome. You're
Renata.
welcome to join us, Ronetta.
of course, if I have free time, I surely will join.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is so
yeah.
interesting and informational.
Great,
Yeah.
wonderful. And make some time to
But
talk with me, Renetta.
sure, I
Okay.
surely will. Like,
Okay,
have a
thanks
good
so
afternoon.
much.
Hey,
Okay.
Bye.
Becky as well. Hey, let's
Yeah.
see.